Okay, so in this video we're going to watch, now this is a long video clip, and I'm going to kind of explain things as we go and watch it. But I was in the house because right back, it almost, you can tell that like there was an add-on to the house. But there's a window pretty much right where I put this home. That's why I did it. It's on the back of the house, and it's got the perfect window ledge. I've got that selfie stick, and it also works as a tripod, so I can just set my phone right on that window ledge, and I can just let it go if there's anything weird out back. So that's where this was taken from, and a lot of the stuff that you're going to see, if we're like watching there, it's going to be over in this general direction. As you can see, let me just do this, miles. It's over a mile before you even get a break in the woods. So for a mile back from my house, there is, I mean, look at all this. There's nowhere to land anything. And actually, this stuff is way more grown in than what this looks like. So I don't know where this stuff would be coming from. You know what I mean? Like, there's nowhere to land anything, and the video is going to speak for itself because it's constant for 15 and a half minutes. You're going to see things coming up from the ground, like from the tree line. I'm just going to go ahead and get into this. So it starts off with these two, and you can see they're kind of, this one was kind of going this way, and this one's kind of going this way, like they're rotating. And there was already one down in here, and there's another one over here. This is what caught my attention. Oh, and there's one here too. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them right there. And then it's going to come up. A lot of them are going to do this. They'll start off white, and then they come up and they'll get multicolored when they get about right here. And there's one here. So we got 1, 2, 3. There was 4, 5, 6. And you're going to see these things moving all around. Now, this isn't Starlink, because Starlink isn't, if you've ever seen Starlink, once you see it, you'd have to be an idiot not to know what it is, because they'll look similar to this, but they're in a line, and they're not going to come up from the ground behind your house. It's going to look like a UFO coming in, so to speak, you know what I mean, because there'll be like a line of lights. Let's see, there's one over there now. It's like boom, 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 and I don't know, currently, yes, there's still one here. So the hot spots you're going to watch when they're coming up at, you're going to see them coming up here a lot. You'll see a few come over here, and then over in here, and then here. Those are like the main areas that you're going to see them. And this just goes on for 15 minutes. Like, they're coming up, they're flying around, they're coming in off the screen over here. And what I need to do is go through and figure out how many of them there are total. Because I'll bet you it's 20 or 30 of them. I mean, that has to be, because they keep coming up out of the ground. You'll see them, like I said, some of them come in from over here. And it's the most bizarre thing. And I apologize, too, for some of the reflection in the window. Like, there's a couple times you see me. I mean, this was, October, so it was already cold out. That was why I didn't go out with the tripod, because I figured, too, by the time I got out there, this would all be done. And we've got the radio going in the kitchen, so I didn't want to play the audio for this because I don't want to get, copyright. But it's interesting because some of this stuff, like you saw the one, say 1, 2, 3, and it's almost like this is dragging that one. But then they'll eventually like untether, so to speak, and then see this will start. But there's like there was a triangle there at one point. There's still this one down here. So we got 1, 2, 3, there's 4. This is just so crazy. Because, like, they just keep coming up from over in here. See, there's one here now. And they'll just disappear like that. And I can't, ball lightning is a thing, but you're not going to get ball lightning like this. Like, you might get 1 or 2, but it's not going to be constant, like, coming up from the woods. Or, like, coming off, like, some of these are, if you've noticed, like, that came from over there. And this one's just going straight up, and this guy's just hanging out. This might be the one that just kind of hangs out most of the time over in the tree line. See, I just saw some flickering down there. But there's one, you can kind of see it, it pulses in and out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I just saw another one down there. So most of the time there's between 4 and 6 of these objects. Yep, another one's coming up from the middle. Isn't that weird? Like, what the hell are these? And look, now, same thing. Once it hits the top of the tree line, multicolored. These can't be drones. No one has, you know, one, the colors aren't right, but two, no one has this many drones that they're going to send up like this. And they're not balloons, because balloons, you'd be able to tell, you know, they would just meander up. Some of these are coming in from over here, they're coming up over here, you know, or it looks like they're attached to one another. So right now there's 5. There was one here, there was one over there, and then these 3. But this is the clip that I said this was like, you know, the pied resistance, if you will. Like, this was like the crescendo of all of it last year. And then it kind of like died down for the most part. But I've noticed it's starting already this year too. Because, I'm trying to think. So out back, I forgot to tell Brian, it was out back about a week before they got here. Over in that part of the sky, there was a green fireball that just came out of nowhere and went flying by. And then out front, there was another one of these multicolored things. This was just, let's see, I'm recording this on the 13th. Let me check my phone, because I document all this. Like, I've got, you know, like I said, screenshots, photos, videos, whatever, because, you know, as a scientist, I have to. Just making sure my phone is muted. So that would have been Wednesday. So Wednesday was what date? So Wednesday, that was the 10th. So the 10th, we had one of these things pop up in the front. And, you know, I went to, came in to get my tripod. And by the time I got my tripod and came back out, it was gone. I mean, like that. Because if you haven't noticed, our house isn't big. So it took me like not even a minute to run in here up to the top of the steps and get the tripod. See, that one disappeared up there. And now this one's coming up. There's one over there. There's one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's always like 5. And I remember at this point too, I was telling my mom and her boyfriend, I'm like, it was that first one that came up. I was like, what the, you know, I was like, I did say it too, because, you know, my mom was cool. She didn't, I mean, I'm an adult anyhow. But she's like, what? And I said, that looked like a star. I mean, it was that bright that these looked like stars coming up. And it's weird because where are they going? You know, they just disappear and look like it starts. That one's like multicolored now. This one's hanging around. It's stationary and white. And I think it's interesting that not all of them are doing that. Like, not all of them are multicolored. Like, the ones that linger tend to stay more white. See, now it's gone. But the ones that linger seem like they stay white or pale colors. Whereas, like, if they're gonna, like, I guess, go away, like, see, there's another one coming up. It's like once they hit around here, oh, there's 2 of them. So this is where they almost cross, like, they almost touch. See that? So I don't, you know, and it's not fireworks or flares, because flares would, you could tell flares. They would go up and then they would like linger, then they would start to come back down. Plus flares aren't multicolored like that. And you would hear flares. When this happens, there's no sound. Because you can be outside recording them and you won't hear anything. I'm trying to look on OBS too, because it almost looks like there's something right in there. Like it's kind of reddish, but I can't tell because it's, you know, kind of pixelated because it's dark. But there is one right here moving, and there's the one right there still. If you saw that flicker right there, I think that was the IR sensor on my phone. Or the infrared sensor. Well, you know what I just noticed? Look, now that one's coming back. I didn't even notice that before. So that one comes back into view, and look at it, and man, look at that thing. Did you see how, look at it, you see how it's getting that like black or dark purple aura around it too? That's what I was talking about in the last video. They get so bright, it's really bizarre. Yeah, I didn't even realize that one came back. So that one completely left, and now it's coming back. But it's like the flight characteristics of these two is really weird. Oh, this is interesting. What's going to happen here? Because there's more videos I'm going to be posting of this. But there was one that looked almost identical to these. When my cousin came up from Virginia, we were back there, and they were flashing like this one is here. You see how it'll like strobe, but they were doing it back and forth. It was almost like they were communicating. It was crazy. And there's another one coming up from the ground now. I wonder if that one actually goes back down into the woods. Wouldn't that be something? But I mean, clearly these aren't drones. There's 4 of them. Like, look. 1, 2, 3. There was 3 right there, then 4. It does make you wonder about this stuff. You know what? When did the New Jersey drone start? I didn't even think about that. Because these things seem like they were everywhere. When did the drones start in New Jersey? November 13th. So this was, what did I don't know. We'll look after it's done because I don't want to have anything pop up on screen right now. As to what I said, October 14th. So the alleged, because see, I'm trying to put things together because the alleged video that they showed in Congress too, if you've seen that, of the, well, whatever it was, like the Tic Tac, the orb, I don't know what shape it was, that took the Hellfire rocket to the face, basically. It was right before this would have been taken. It was actually about it was right after that. It was the 24th, I think they said, of October. But this is like a couple weeks before the New Jersey drone flap starts. So whatever was going on, it seemed like this was around that time that everything started. And it does make, and that's where it gets hard, because it's like there is no military presence here. You know what I mean? Like there's no close bases or anything. Believe me, I've went on Google Maps and I've looked just to make sure. I mean, there's National Guard armories, but look, there was one. It was flying right towards that. But I mean, there's National Guard armories, but a lot of places have those, but there's no actual like bases that are close. I believe Pittsburgh has one, or they did at one point. That they had some kind of like a reserve base or something. Because I believe Ohio and more towards Philly are going to be the closest like places that might have bases. I can't remember. I'd have to look at the map again. But I mean, the point is, there's no. Oh, I see one up here now. Boom, boom, and there was one wherever that went. There was one over there. I mean, this just goes on and on and on for 15 and a half minutes. That's what made this so crazy, is eventually it just stops, and I'm like, well, okay, I guess the light show's over. Because that's what I call it when this starts happening, is the light show. Because it feels like it's a performance being put on. And there's going to be another video, too, that people are probably going to, call me crazy with. But it would have taken place over around here, and it is during the daylight, too. Well, there's 2 instances. One, you'll see a silver orb in it that's kind of like this. It's almost like silver or see-through. It's flying around over here. And then another one is, it disappeared, and I'm like, because, they always talk about consciousness and like these things allegedly We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's one down there, so that would be 6. They talk about, allegedly these things can interact with your consciousness. So I'm like, well, why don't you come back? And it did. And that's when I started recording because it freaked me out. Especially as someone that is so grounded. That was one thing Brian and them told me. They're like, man, look, that just lit up. It's like it powers up. But they're like, man, you're like, there's another one. See, and they don't start till right in here, so it is like they're coming out of the woods. But he's like, man, you don't just believe stuff. I'm like, no, because I told him, I'm like, look, I'm not to bring this stuff into it, but it's like, look, I am a pagan. I believe some crazy stuff if you ask some people, but that's completely set aside. Belief and proof are two different things. So when it comes to stuff like this in science, it doesn't matter what I believe. It's what kind of proof do I have? Or not proof, but like what kind of evidence do I have? So, while I might, I don't know, I'm kind of rambling here, but I don't mean to. But it does have to do with this because it's like, it kind of freaked me out because it's like, that's things that other people are claiming that they believe. And it's like, well, is this possible evidence of that being true? Like, why did that thing come back? Because it was completely gone. And then all of a sudden, it was like the one that came back up here was like all of a sudden it came from over here. And it's like, oh, what? Wait, what? You said to come back if I can hear you. And it's like, oh, man, please don't start doing this stuff because that will be really bizarre. And it wouldn't bother me if this wasn't at my house. It's the fact that all this crazy stuff happens back in those woods. And it's like, 350 yards from my house? See, there's 2 now. There was one here and one there. But yeah, this was like the 15.5-minute, crescendo to everything. And, I don't know what to make of this. So if you guys have any idea, please let me know because it's, like I said, Starlink is a straight line. You know what? We'll just do this. Starlink. See? They call it the Starlink train. So you can, like I said, once you see it in the sky, because that is what it looks like in the sky, you'll know that it's Starlink. And, there's nowhere to launch anything over here. I guess you could have stuff coming up from the field, but you can see this is all farmland. Like, there's nothing around here. And I don't know about geomagnetics around here. Like, if, because that was one thing that me and Brian and them talked about was, can geomagnetics actually play a part in this? And it could be causing some kind of weird, I don't want to say ball lightning, but geomagnetics can cause a lot of crazy stuff to happen. But I don't know if that could play a part in this or not, because I did look at power substations too, because that was one of the first things that Stan Gordon wanted. He's like, find out where those are to see if there's any connection between that, fracking pads, and where these things are. And I don't think that there is, because the power substations aren't anywhere near me. And the closest fracking pad y'all saw was like right here. It's 1,000 yards. There's over 1,000 yards. Yeah, I don't know. But I wanted to put these out because I want people. So if you've watched this too, Brian, I appreciate you guys coming out. This is just something else to add to the evidence out here. But I needed to get all this stuff out because there's some crazy stuff that I have recorded. And while the channel primarily has been, relic hominoids or, Sasquatch, if you want to call it that, that's not the only thing that I'm studying out here. Now, I've never had a location like this before, and it's just so bizarre, that it's crazy that all this is happening at one site. But Stan Gordon even told me that there is this weird connection between UAP and Sasquatch and black cats, which is, like I said, down the road from me there is allegedly black cats sighted and other things like that. So it's going to be interesting moving forward. But I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Later.